All right, let's talk about AI in the classroom. It's one of the biggest questions in education right now, isn't it? How do we use this incredible technology to make students smarter, not just, faster at getting answers? Today, we're going to dive into a new framework that takes a pretty radical approach to solving this.
And boom, this sentence right here gets straight to the heart of it. The goal isn't just to get a quick, easy answer spit out by a machine. The real goal is to turn AI into a partner, a tool that helps us build up our critical thinking skills.
And really, this is the question that every single teacher, parent, and student is dealing with. Are we creating a generation of real thinkers? Or are we just training expert button pushers? This is the core dilemma we're going to unpack today. So, to really get the solution they're proposing, we first have to get a crystal clear picture of the problem. And right now, the way most students interact with AI is what the source material calls a black box. Now, this framing is absolutely key. The problem isn't just a challenge for teachers. It's a systemic governance failure. Think about it. A student types in a prompt, some magic happens inside this invisible box, and a polished answer comes out. That whole process is completely untraceable. And, as we're about to see, it is full of some serious pitfalls. This whole black box way of doing things, well, it leads to 3 specific and pretty critical failures in our education system. Let's break them down one by one. First up, accountability just collapses. The enemy here is the simple, vague, lazy prompt. It spits out a perfect-sounding answer, but there's no audit trail, no way to see the work. This creates a huge crisis for academic integrity. I mean, how can a teacher possibly tell the difference between a student's own work and a super sophisticated copy and paste job? Second, there's a major failure when it comes to equity. Here's the deal. These big AI models are trained on massive amounts of data from the internet, and that data, well, it's full of human biases. So when students use these tools without a system to question the output, they risk absorbing and even amplifying some really harmful stereotypes right there in the classroom. And this brings us to what might be the most crucial failure of all, a failure of our core mission as educators. By letting AI be a simple answer machine, we're basically teaching what the source calls cognitive surrender. We're not getting students ready for a future where humans and AI collaborate. We're actually training them for a skill that's already becoming obsolete. Okay, so if that's the problem, what on earth is the solution? This is where a new operating system for working with AI comes into play. It's called the Think First protocol. Now, it's really important to get this. This is not just a list of helpful tips or best practices, it's a protocol. That means it's a required, structured process. The whole idea is to build the rules of good thinking and accountability right into the act of using AI. So, what does this actually look like in practice? The protocol is made up of 4 clear steps that force a much more rigorous, more thoughtful way of interacting with the technology. So here they are, the 4 stages. You start with a framing brief, then you move to assumption hunting, next is multi-angle analysis, and you finish with synthesis and, crucially, a human-led decision. Each one of these steps is specifically designed to fight back against one of the failures of that black box approach. And check this out. This shows you exactly how the protocol is a direct answer to those problems we talked about. That untraceable output from a lazy prompt, the framing brief solves that by creating an audit trail. The hidden biases in the model, assumption hunting actively targets them. That tendency we all have to just confirm our own ideas, the multi-angle analysis step dismantles that. And cognitive surrender? Nope, that's prevented by the final step, synthesis and decision, which puts the human thinker firmly back in the driver's seat. This all leads to a much bigger idea. The goal of this whole protocol. It goes way beyond just getting a better essay out of a student. It's really about changing their entire relationship with technology. See, when students follow this workflow, they're not just learning about history or science. They're actually learning the skills of ethical collaboration, of transparency, of accountability. They're learning practical governance, a skill they can apply to any complex system they'll ever encounter, not just AI. This quote just nails the whole philosophy, doesn't it? A user just operates a tool the way it's given to them. But an architect? An architect understands the system, questions its foundations, and takes total responsibility for what they create. That is the massive shift in mindset we're talking about. And so that leaves us with this one final, powerful question. The age of AI is here. It is not going away. The choice isn't whether we use AI in schools, but how we use it. The decisions we make right now will literally define the thinking habits and the critical skills of the entire next generation. So, what are we going to choose?